Trader. This is the last call of the day. So we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, at Ethereum, ETHU, and then we'll take a look here at gold and silver and crude oil, natural gas. We'll take a look here at the oil indexes, which are kind of bleeding red right now. Okay, at the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas, along with the EIA report for Natgas. This video is for information purposes only, not a recommendation to buy or sell stock market ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Alrighty, here we have Bitcoin daily chart. Now, you can see here how Bitcoin pretty much trades with the indexes. So when the indexes are red, it seems like Bitcoin is also going red, okay? So what we had here, we had this nice double top situation and it broke out above, but obviously it just could not hold it. We had this sideways action. Now what we're really looking for here at close is going to be this try to hold that 121,599 level. That's that 8 simple moving average, okay? Now if we can get above that, then we'll come up here to the top of that candle, 122.40 level. We can come over here to today's highs, that 124.65. Then we come up here to this 124.940. But this is what we're looking for on a closing basis, is to recapture that 125,200, okay? If we can get above that, then we got nice good targets up here. You got 126,295 and then 127,240. You crack that, you're going to that 130 and then 135 area, okay? But we got to get back above this. Right now, we got this little sell-off situation. So let's just see how that's going to shake out. Now, today's low, we had this 370 level. So the next level is going to be right there. You're looking at 119,145. And look to the bottom of that candle. You're looking at 118,470. And then we're looking for that 117,117, which is your 21-day. And then we have your 50-day right below that at 115,718. Obviously, if we lose that, we come to the bottom of that candle there. You're looking at 114,570. We look at that 113,460. And then we're looking for El Hondo here at 113,139 level. But right now here, we have like a sideways kind of an action. We never got to an overbought situation. It's coming down. The green is still over your red. Again, one day does not make a market. We had a really, really good run-up situation. We got outside those price channels, and a lot of times when that happens, it wants to come right towards that 8-day. So let's just see if that 8-day holds. If not, we could maybe come down to the 21-day and the 50-day. That holds. This could be a good buying opportunity to take that bad boy longer. Okay, so always remember that. So just watch this 8-day. Very, very key. If not, we have the 21-day and we have that 50 SMA right there. Now, upside, I say, we just want to get right back above top of realistically, top of that candle, that 125,200. Then we can strike that 127,240 level. All right, let's take a look here now at Ethereum. All right, here we have the Ethereum ETF, ETHU. Now you can see here we had a nice double top, came down, and the soul ran off, had a nice good rally on up. Same way, it's just trading again like with the market and like with Bitcoin, except as the price is a lot higher, so it's going to be a little bit more extreme. Okay, so on the downside here, we're watching today's low, 134.01. Okay, so now we got into this gap. So your next obviously is going to be 130.90. Okay, see there's the fill. Okay, so you have your gap now, and then we have the fill. Then we look to the bottom of this candle. You're looking at 125. 40 level, and we'll come to the bottom there, 114.84, and then we have your retest and your 100-day sitting right around that 109 level. All right. Now on the upside, well, again, you have to get back above that 145.27. That is your 50-day and your 20 and your 21-day, and then we have right above that you got 147.25. Now, if you can get right back up, we're going to be looking at the top of that candle, 145.63 level. We'll come over here, top of that, 147, and then we want to really retest that 169.45 level and see if we can get it back above it and maybe shoot for that top of that card at 188.73. But right now, the price C is below that 8-day, that 21-day, and that 50-day. That's not a really, really good look. So we got to see how this is going to shake out. But basically, this is why I always point out this gap and this fill. Right now, we got into the gap. We haven't filled the gap yet. So just watch that 130.90 and then see what the reaction is once we get there. Does it go lower? Does it hold there? Or what's the situation? Now, RSI, that's not overbought or oversold. The green is still over your red. We got a sideways action. There's really isn't really much here on, say, as far as the upside, unless you can get back above these simple moving averages, okay? The downside, it just looks like it just wants to go lower, so just watch that gap and that fill. And then we got to see exactly if we can get all the way down here, maybe possibly, could be a good buying opportunity. So when this market sells off here, don't look at it as, oh, this is selling off. Look at it as opportunity. How do I get back in? Okay, let's take a look here now at gold and silver. Here we have gold, here we have silver. Now, this is no surprise. I've been telling you how ridiculously overbought, you know, this is going, I mean, you're way over the 80 mark. You know, it's never going to last. Okay. But again, I said it's going to be go to that 4,100, and we didn't quite make it there, but it came pretty damn close. Now today we made a high of 40.77, but then we have that big red candle. However, when you look at this, we're still holding that 8-day. Even with that big ass red candle, yeah, we took out these 2 days, but you're still holding that red, that 8-day at 39.50. That's going to be very key. You start losing it, you want to come right to the top of that candle there, 39.22. Then we'll come to the bottom there, 39.09. Then we'll come to the bottom at 38.61, and then we'll come down at 38.42. And then we were looking for this 38.22 level. That is going to be your catch-all, your 21-day. But again, you have to lose that 8-day. Right now, even though you have one big red candle, you know, 1 day does not make a market. It just took a little bit of relief off of the top of that 80-plus situation on your RSI. And the green is so far nosebleed area here. It came off just a little bit. Now, on the upside here, we'll just do the reverse. We're looking for the top of that candle. 39.94, we're looking at there at 40.14, and then we'll look at today's high, 40.77, and then we have that 40.81. Now you crack above that, obviously 4100, and then 41.20, because a lot of times they'll just overshoot. Okay, so be a little patient. Right now we're just trading this range. Okay, 39.50 on the bottom and 40.81 on the top. Now, I took no trade today at all on this because for me, when I see something above here, the risk reward just isn't there for me. Okay, now we look at silver. Okay, now I said we're going to go to that 50 mark. When we come, no! Oh, man, you got to be kidding me. 49.965. Look at that shit, okay? So you had to get out of that trade. I took a small scalp in silver today, but I am long out. I didn't even wait for it to 9.6 there. When it started hitting that 49.80 mark, I was out of this trade because you are at nosebleed. But I said you want to take it to the 50 area. Came pretty damn close, okay? Now, big topping tail, and now we're below this 8-day. So we got to get back above that 8-day. That's key. That's 47.62, okay? So if you can, then we'll come up there, 47.97 level. We'll come up there at 48.61. We'll come up top of that candle, 49.19. And then we come up there at 49.96 level. Okay. Boom. Right there. Okay. Very, very nicely. Go up there. You're going to hit that 50, then 50, you know, head towards that 50.20 and maybe even 51 level kind of says. But I was looking for that 50 and we came pretty damn close. Okay. Now, downside here, we want to watch today's low, obviously, 46.89. We lose that. You can come down to the bottom there at 45.96. And then we come down to the bottom of that candle, 45.71. And then we have your catch-all here, 21-day at 45.28. So let's just see if we can hang on that 8-day and what the whole situation is. We have to you're at 80 mark, way over. So I just took a little schnitzel in the SLV today and in and out real quick like a rabbit, and boom, I was done and out of it. I'm looking for that whole 50 because a lot of times, you know, it didn't quite get there. But when it came to that 49.80 mark, boom, see you later. And then maybe we'll catch it down here if it comes down to that 21-day. Now I can see where it rolled over here. The green is over your red. So just be patient. If you're long this here, take some profits here when you get up to these kind of marks. I said we're looking for that 4,000 mark. We're looking for that 50 mark. And boy, came pretty damn close. Okay, let's take a look at the old crude ski and Natgas. All right, here we have the old crude oil. Okay. Now, again, what we got going on here is we have this red candle. Now, you can see how strong that these resistant levels are. That's why I always put your 8-day, your 21-day, 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day, and I put key after the end of it. So those are your key levels of support and resistance. And here's the reason why. Right into it, couldn't do it. Right into it and couldn't do it, okay? So now we're here down, we lost this 8-day. So on the upside, you got to get back above that 61.63 level. Then your next level is going to be right there, 62.11. And then we're going to be looking right for that 21-day at 62.85. You get above that, we have 63.49. We have 64.79, and then we can head for that 66.49, which is your 200 SMA here, okay? But right now, okay, it looks like you got a good ceasefire going there between Israel and that Hamas whole situation, which is a good thing. Okay, we're going to get that done. And the next one you got to get solved there. The T-man will get solved between Ukraine and Russia and get that done and out of the way. It makes no sense. I don't even know what you're accomplishing with all this except wasting money and wasting people's lives. This is crazy. Anyway, what we got here, okay, on the downside is we're watching today's low. Okay, so 61.25 level. Then the next level we're going to be looking at is right there at that 62.12. And then we'll come to sticky here at 60.72. And then we'll be watching right there for that 60.40 level. That's going to be very, very critical on the closing basis. We lose it, I'm going to tell you the same shit I've been telling you now here for 2 months. We're going to be looking right here 59.74. Okay, we lose that, you're going to come right down there, 57.74. Then you have 57.03. We'll come down there at 56.39, 55.30, and then 55.12. But you have to lose that key 50.40 in order to do that. Okay, so I jumped in the old SCO today. Why? Because we could not get above this 21-day. So I jumped in the old SCO. Watching it very close, but you can see where it moved right between below that 8-day, still in the SCO. So I'm going to see at 6 o'clock for futures, where I'll be trading against today's candle. Okay, 62.87 on the high, 61.25 on the low point. But I'll be watching that 8-day and that 21-day very, very carefully, and that 60.40 level. Okay, Natty Gas. Didn't want to do it, but I took a little short ski. Okay, took a little short ski. It got down as 33.20 and as high as 35. I got one solid point out of the KOLD there today. I couldn't help myself because it went right on up here, but you notice that it just could not hold that 8-day. Now, the EIA report came out and they had a build of 80 a billion cubic feet. They're expecting 77 billion cubic feet. Now, last week we had 53 billion cubic feet. So you got plenty of supply in the old natty gas. So always remember that. Now, this maybe looks, say, oh, this looks bad. But actually, all you do is look at the bottom of that candle. Okay, that 335, and then we look at 385. We're still trading this box. See this box? That box. That's what we're trading, okay? So if we hold that 100-day, okay, then we could rally up to what we're looking for at the bottom of that candle, okay, 329, the bottom there, okay, 331. Then we're looking for that 8-day at 338. You get above that, we're looking for 348. Then we're going to be at the top of that candle, 355, and then 358 level. Crack that right there, 362. Now, I have no trade in this, one way or the other. I'm not long and I'm not short. I just scalped the KLD just like I did yesterday. Scalped the KLD, and that's it. However, on crude, I'm long the SCO. I am short ski, okay, on crude oil. Now, if we lose that 100 SMA, then what you can do is you'll be looking for the top of that candle right there, 3.19. Then we have 3.16. Then we have 3.13, and then basically this 3.14, that 21-day, that's the catch-all, okay? Now, we lose that right here, 3.12, that is your gap, and then all the way down here, 3.29 or 2.96, that is your fill. Gap and fill, but you have to lose this 100-day, 21-day, and pretty much that 50-day in order to fill that gap. Okay, so let's just see if that 100-day holds. So let's look at those futures when you open at 6 p.m. tonight, and we'll see what the reaction is going to be. So now what we're doing is we're trading between the 100-day, okay, the old purple 100-day right there, and that 8-day. So we've got to see which way she's going to break. Is it going to break back up, or is she going to lose that 21-day and come down, 100-day and come down to that 21-day and possibly 50-day. All right, let's take a look here now at the indexes. All right, I'm going to say it again, what we have here, negative divergence, negative divergence, negative divergence. This was your buying up, buying up, buying up. This is your trading up right here. This is all just nothing but solid trades. Now, just remember, okay, when it's probably coming up here very, very shortly, you will get tax selling situations, okay? A lot of times you get that like in November, you get tax selling. So always pay attention to that. Now, you can see here how we just had this sideways action. We popped up. I said we're going to that 47,000 mark. I thought we could go stop at 67. We didn't. We made a new high there, and I'm looking at 23,000 there. So I came pretty damn close, okay? Now, came right on down, but you notice you're holding that 21-day. Look at this. Look at that shit, okay? Boom, nice. We lose that 21-day, there your target's going to be down to that 50-day. Okay, it's going to be the same thing right here. Came right on up, made a new high. Now we're got to hold that 8-day. You lose that, it would come down to the 21-day. You lose that, it would come down to the 50-day. All right, now here we have the old NASDAQ. Okay, so here we go. We got the 8-day. We lose the 8-day, we come down to the 21-day. Okay, we lose that, we're going to come down to the 50-day. So we got the same situation. Yesterday we made this high of 23.45. Today we made a higher high, 23.62. Okay, so we made to put another high in, and you notice that we're still holding this 8-day very, very nicely here on the old NASDAQ. But just pay attention to that negative divergence. Of course, it hasn't been working. I'll be the first to admit that. But again, trader's market is this situation. Okay, now remember, one day down does not make a market. One day up does not make a market. You got to see how this turn around. But man, we're at nosebleed area. I mean, this is beyond V-shaped bottom here. You know what I'm saying? This is like beyond. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is like wild stuff. Look at this. Boom. I mean, usually like these V-shaped markets come up and you'll end up right about here, but this just keeps right on going, extended. But when you keep on getting it extended, when it comes off extremely hard. Okay, that's what I got for you. I'll be back here tomorrow morning. We'll do it all over again. Remember, tomorrow's Friday. We've got the rig count there at 1 p.m. And we'll see what else we got going. Trade what's in front of you, not what you want.